The exact location and time period are left deliberately vague, but it's clearly meant to represent the economic relationship between the Revacholian suzerainty and its many vassals.
Remove the plastic wrap.
The plastic wrap rips off as easily as a bodice in a tawdry historical romance. There's a hiss as the lid slides off. Inside, you find a thick, full-color rulebook and more than a dozen pouches of various wooden components. Savor that new board game smell. A mix of wood, paper, and ink, all wrapped in the sweet must of cardboard.
Read the rulebook.
Welcome to Suzerainty, a game of economic strategy for the whole family.
It's like Monopoly?
The rulebook is sumptuously illustrated and thick as a Gradian novel.
Okay. History seems problematic, but it is important to teach children basic economic concepts.
The colorful illustrations depict cheerful workers picking apricots, hauling marble sculptures out of crumbling temples, and harvesting a strange magenta-leafed plant. Everyone is smiling. You begin to suspect there may be a political agenda to this so-called family game. Only one way to find
Hey
out.
Moeed, what's up, buddy?
The instructions are opaque at first and introduce many concepts you're not familiar with. Fortunately, there are many diagrams and examples throughout.
Thank you, Rising YOLO. Appreciate it, buddy.
You soon figure out the basic conceit. Each player represents an administrator for the suzerain of Revachol. Your objective is to increase the suzerain's wealth and renown by accumulating victory points.
How do you do that?
That's where the suzerain's vassals come in. The game features
They
four
made a whole
vassal
fictional
nations,
game
each
just
one
for
home
this.
to an economically important resource. Each turn, the player collects resources from vassals where they've placed workers. They may then rearrange their workers, fulfill contracts for coin and bonuses, or build structures back in Revachol. As you leaf through the pages, your eye catches on a sidebar labeled Advice for Beginners.
Read it.
Remember, there are many paths to victory in suzerainty, but successful players will find one strategy and commit to it wholeheartedly. Boring, boring, boring. Tear up this rulebook and commit some old-school atrocities.
How is the winner determined?
The actual scoring system appears infinitely complex, with a series of tables and appendices required to compute each player's final victory point total. You skip that part for
Hey, Kim,
now.
want to play?
The lieutenant looks over the rulebook before he sees something that makes his eyes go wide.
Holy shit. The average playing time for this game is 1 to 6 hours. I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game.
Put the game away. Wait.
Motorway south. The lone vector stretches in your mind's eye into the wild pale yonder, for an unimaginable distance, forgetting, until you can no longer remember anything. No cities, no mountains, no oceans, and finally, no vector. Nothing remains. A blank space with no point of reference, where only one type of motion is possible. The motion of a human throat. Swallow in, and then it comes to you. To reach the end of the motorway south is to be unborn. You've had this thought before, while aimlessly wandering the streets of Jamrock. A lost piece of the man you were. A dark hope.
Damn. And we got more Inland Empire. Yeah. I like that one. Okay, let's do a hard save. Great. Okay, now let's try the board game.
The suzerainty box is heavy and slightly awkward in your hands. You give it a light shake and feel the pieces shift around inside.
One sec. I think I'm gonna need some help from chat. I'm gonna need some help. Notter's help. That's right, Celtic, my man. Notter's help. All right, one sec. We gotta go here, and then here. One day this will save. One day. All right, chat, help me out. You gotta click plus on suggestion, psyche, and minus on anything else, and then vote. Here we go. Boom. Let me on chat. Yes, L. No, not plus in chat. On the screen. On the screen. What? Cat. You gave me physique. No, I said psyche. The
What? Does the lieutenant hate fun? Is he the fun police?
Who died and made you the fun police?
The lieutenant gives you a sour look.
Oh wait, I
He
did get
may
it.
or may not hate. Have you tried goading him?
You just chicken out because you know I'd crush your ass.
In your dreams, maybe. I've thrashed my share of trash talkers before. Now come on, let's put childish things aside.
Ignore the mock umbrage. Now he wants to prove it to you.
Again.
What is detective work if not an elaborate game? You need logical inference, attention to detail, the ability to analyze your opponent's motive.
Come on, it might help us think of more creative solutions to the case.
I do feel like my thinking has become somewhat
So good,
rigid. Maybe a little diversion to keep the mind limber is just what's in order.
See? He's doing the hard work himself. All he needed was a little nudge.
Alright, you've convinced me. How do we play?
I read the rules already, I'll show you.
You explain the basic setup procedures to the lieutenant, who seems to be a quick study. You each take your bag of tokens and counters and unfold the board between you. In the center is the crown of Revachon. Radiating outward are her colorful vessels, each one supplying some raw material desired by the suzerain. Apricots from Safre, archaeological treasures from Ilmarat, sugars from the Seminine Islands, and magenta cocaine from Supra Muindi and Sara Maritza. There's also a neat little log to keep track of your progress in case you need to put the game away and return to it later. The lieutenant goes first. He draws a contract card and moves several of his workers to the Safre territory of the board, and the others to the Seminine Islands.
Alright, detective, your turn.
Hey, Cohh, my friends keep telling me that they're gonna hang out but never do. Oh, that's normal human stuff. It's very normal for people to say, oh yeah, we can do that later, or oh sure, yeah, we can hang out, we can go see a movie, absolutely, and then they never do. That's normal, and that's just how people are. Don't feel bad.
You have a few options available to you. Will you try to fulfill contracts right away, or rearrange your workers to maximize production on future turns? Remember what the rulebook said. You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed.
Fulfill a contract.
You draw a contract card offering a number of coins in exchange for archaeological treasures. You place all your workers on the Ilmarat territory. On your next turn, you produce 6 units of archaeological treasure and fulfill the contract for a handful of coins.
Nice.
Not bad, detective.
But not good enough, the lieutenant seems to be saying. As he completes his own contract card, the lieutenant is rewarded with 4 coins and a round wooden token that he places in the center of the board.
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points.
Glowers silently.
The lieutenant returns your baleful look with a satisfied grin. Come on, is that your game face? You're practically broadcasting your position to the lieutenant with that expression. Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. Pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you to survive a possible conflict with the lieutenant. Or you could ignore your labor supply and focus on fulfilling contracts for points and resources. Those aren't your only options. You could also show your workers how much you appreciate them by investing some of that wealth in them. After all, they're the ones producing wealth for the suzerain. Well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective strategy, but then it's up to you.
Contracts.
Who cares about workers or territories when the real action is in Revachon? You spend your turns fulfilling contracts for sweet coins and one-time bonuses. After several turns, you have a neat pile of cardboard coins and several units of archaeological treasure, which you trade in to build. a museum. You place a cylindrical piece of wood on the Revachol section in the middle of the board. It's meant to stand in for a beautifully adorned edifice filled with ancient wonders. This is more or less what happened in real life as well. To this day, if Ilmarans want to see their nation's priceless treasures, they have to visit Revachol, or Gottwald, or Sur-le-Clay.
Well played, detective. That museum is worth 3 victory points.
Now it's the lieutenant's turn to respond. He moves aggressively onto the Safrey territory. Soon, his workers are producing a steady supply of extremely valuable apricots. How can you let the lieutenant dominate you like that? You need to hit back, and hard. For several turns, you struggle to respond to the lieutenant's burgeoning apricot empire. Eventually, you relocate the majority of your workers to Supremawindi and Saramaritsa, where they begin producing
The classic
a bumper crop
apricot
of
move. That's
cocaine
right, Smoke.
tokens. You draw a new contract card. According to the text, there's an aristocrat willing to trade a large supply of cocaine for a number of coins and access to a rare bonus. Amplified music worth 7 victory points. You know, this isn't unlike the situation the historical Revacholian suzerainty faced in Safrey in the middle of the last century.
Tell me more.
Well, the suzerain was looking for new markets for all the cocaine it was producing, and it settled on Safrey. By introducing cocaine into Safrey under exclusive contract, the suzerain created an extremely valuable captive market for an extremely addictive product.
That's messed up.
If you could somehow get the lieutenant's workers addicted to your cocaine, you could not only make them less productive, you would also force the lieutenant to pay you for your cocaine tokens each turn.
Can you even do that?
Yes, you can. It's right there in the rules. You've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression?
You know what? We're sticking with the strategy. I kind of really want to do that. But I kind of want to rock and roll and go for the contract and beat him. Rock and roll, baby. Go for the contract. Oh, chat's saying no. Sorry, Kim. You're not going to like this. Introduce lieutenant's workers to cocaine. You know what, chat? Which one are we doing? We doing 1 or 3? Are we going to introduce his workers to cocaine? Or are we going to go for the win? You tell me. We're going to do whatever chat wants for this one. And chat's a druggie. Okay, let's go. He does not appreciate you getting all his workers addicted to cocaine.
With each passing turn, you slowly bleed the lieutenant of coins as his own workers become less productive and more dependent on your magenta cocaine tokens.
Yep.
As a matter of historical fact, this is almost exactly what happened in Safrey. To this day, fully half of the former Safrey Empire remains dependent on international aid in exchange for a steady supply of cheap produce.
Isn't this what they did to the apricot suzerainty in real life?
More or less.
Lieutenant says, but he's thinking less about matters of historical wrongdoing than how to get out of the jam you've put him in.
Realizing victory is slipping away, the lieutenant launches a desperate gambit. Protectionism. By erecting tariffs on your cocaine, he hopes to starve you out of the market at the risk of incurring the suzerain's disfavor.
Oh no.
The end game is upon you. Do you escalate the trade war with the lieutenant in hopes of crushing him with your economic might? Or do you ignore his aggression and focus on building the mighty victory column structure in Revachol herself? Alternatively, you could throw the whole game away by trying to build a public education system for the children of your workers. The choice is yours.
Education is for losers. I'm doing the victory column.
Building the ultimate structure requires diligent economic planning, which you completely fail to do. Rather than build a glorious monument to Revachol's economic superiority, you have to settle for a handful of post offices and school for the blind.
A risky gambit, detective. Sorry it didn't pay off.
This dumb game is rigged! Rigged, I say!
Don't be a sore loser, detective. Your moves were your own. Now, let's tally up the scores, shall we?
Computing the final scores is almost a game unto itself. You each spend an inordinate amount of time making stacks of coins, consulting tables, and struggling with basic addition and multiplication. After double, then triple checking your maths, you have your final score. 15 victory points. The suzerain will not be impressed.
I've got 26 points.
Ah! Not gonna lie, I think you had us in the first half.
Don't be glum, detective. There's always next time. Figuratively, I mean. There's no way we have time to play this game again.
Astorma says, are there any mods in chat? Yeah, we got a few mods in chat. What's up, Astorma?
Now, let's clean up and get back to work.
Rodivore. Nice.
You hold the open game box before you.
Okay. All right, so we still gotta wait. That was awesome. What a fun little experience there. Okay, let's save it. And now we're just gonna read the book until this happens, because I really want to see what's gonna happen here. I want to see this.
Medicinal purposes.
Reload and try again?
Nah.
Nah. That's
The
fine.
cover of this heavy tome. Very well. Next, last, you've created a would you like to try? Very well. Next, you've created a would you like to try? Next, you've created a would you like to try? You've created a you've created a delicious lastly, you've created a would you you've created a you
I got too excited.
medicinal purposes of the very next last you've created a which very next last you've created a would you like very you've created a delicious you've created a delicious
15 too, so we got just a few more.
You've created a delicious
It's true, Sony
You've
X.
created a delicious you've created
we go.
a delicious thing would you like to try? You've created a delicious would you like to you close the book.
Is this it? This looks like the abandoned fish market. I wonder if we're like too close when it rolls over though. Maybe we have to like zone out and come back or something. I think that's where it is though. Oh, save and load. Go back into the church and then load the scene. Need to re-enter the area. We'll duck into the church and we'll do the time thing in there and then we'll come back out. A lot of people in chat are saying that it's soft locking for them. Hopefully we won't run into that. We'll see.
Medicinal purpose. You've created a delicious. You've created a delicious. You've created a delicious thing. You've created a delicious thing. You've created a delicious. 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 You've created
Hardcore, man.
You've created.
Here we go.
You've created a delicious. You've created a delicious. You've created a delicious. Would you like to? You close the book.
Boop. Oh, we're a little late. I have made a horrible mistake. Do not soft lock. Use mouse to move, not keyboard, and click on the object from far away to auto move. Okay. Don't see anything yet. Oh. What the hell?
Put your hands where I can see them.
The aging woman under a mountain of police paraphernalia mumbles to herself, then notices you and reaches for the megaphone.
Show me your hands. This is the pigs. Show me your hands. Right now! Show me your hands! Right now!
Scavenged, battery-powered police lights protrude from her back. The flickering light show reveals the gun in her shaking hand.
This is who bought the gun?
Madame, please drop the firearm immediately.
You shouldn't be here. Something's very wrong with her. She's completely out of control.
Raise your hands.
The man appears to be pulling out an object from his pocket.
Fear under threat! Fear under threat! Superseding event. Split-second decision. Get on the ground! Get on the goddamn ground!
I wasn't taking anything out of my pocket.
Get on the ground! I want you on the pavement right now! This is the pigs! Subject yourself to a full body cavity search. Prohibited materials concealed in nostrils, ears, mouth, navel, urethra, foreskin, vagina, and rectum.
In her mind, the cavity search is happening. As long as she's saying it. It appears that
This
things
is
she
so
says are
weird.
very real to her.
Be careful, detective. Don't do anything that might set her off.
You can solve this peacefully. Please lower the weapon.
Officer in need of assistance! Suspect alert! Get on the ground!
Ma'am, please. We want to help you, but you need to lower that weapon.
Let's just talk.
Disturbance reported. Authorized deadly force. Sector, take the shot! Big red key! Big red key!
Big red key? That's code for the battering ram. Cop talk. You know this.
Please identify yourself.
It's a goddamn police shitbag! Cut the pavement! You're under arrest!
As she waves her hands, you notice familiar-looking ampoules and packets sticking out of the mountain of police gear on her back. Medicine or drugs? She thinks she's a police officer. Try treating her like a police officer. A
Officer-
lower-ranking police officer.
Officer Pigs W. Freighter Harry Dubois requesting your sidearm for inspection.
What? What?
Patrol officer, you're in gross violation of the RCM Code of Conduct.
Sir?
She hesitates, looking around in confusion. The three-barreled pepper box wavers in her hand.
In this moment of hesitation, she almost doesn't seem disturbed, but like someone suddenly waking from a deep sleep.
Patrol officer, I have to sign you up for a disciplinary hearing. Slowly shake your head.
Easy. Press her too hard and shit.
With a swift, poorly coordinated move, the woman slams the megaphone against her lips and teeth. A trickle of blood runs down her chin. She doesn't notice it.
Officer compromise! Unlawful impersonation! Pigs en route! Engage your will!
Okay, she's actually more agitated now. My bad.
Are you on drugs?
Confiscated contraband! Restricted access! 2 kilos missing! Eyewitness report compromised!
I don't think she's on drugs. Being off drugs might actually be the problem here.
You're not the police. We're the police.
Back up! Back up! Back up! Status unconfirmed!
I'm at the remote viewers division.
But back up. I thought Mr. Moran.
Aggravated assault! Man down! Suspect on foot!
There's a scenario unfolding in her head right now. It has nothing to do with what's happening here.
What's the situation, officer?
Law enforcement compromised! Impersonating a police officer!
Does she not believe you two are actually police officers?
You really are cops. Look, my badge.
License and registration! License and registration! Come in dispatch! Sector! Azimuth!
It's not a code, just disjointed words. She's losing it. One twitch and there would be blood.
We can't leave. A delirious civilian is pointing a firearm at us. Your firearm. You need to solve this.
Chat. Please help. I need Motorix. Please help. Please help, chat. Please help. Plus on Motorix, minus on anything else. and then vote. Bulbous says just this once. Thank you. I can't do my close in dialogue. Chad said nope.
She's frantic, confused, teetering under all that gear. There's an opening if you just move fast enough. If not, the lieutenant's got her in his sights. Host almighty, don't count on that. You saw the Binoclad can't shoot for shit.
No, I know myself. I know I'm gonna fail.
Sure, you're you, but how do we end this? She's not just gonna let you leave.
Gun, I'm coming!
Suicide back home. Split-second decision. Eat lead, scumbag.
God, I almost blew her head off.
What is this? This isn't police issue. Police weapons have bullets. Police guns always have bullets. What is this? Why did you sell me this?
She looks devastated. Grab the gun right now. This might be your only chance.
Pick up your gun.
No one ever cares anymore. Why would they treat me like this?
This voice actor is incredible.
Poor woman. We need to figure out what to do with her now.
Nobody's ever around. Nobody ever comes to visit me.
I'm very sorry this is how life turned out for you. Gently touch her shoulder.
Her scratched skin is warm to the touch, but the person inside doesn't even know you're there.
What do you think is happening to her?
She's in a stupor. I've seen this before. God knows for how long. Could be days when they get like this.
Why was she like this in the first place?
Honestly, I don't know. Dementia, probably. Dementia and Channel 8. And loneliness.
This is what happens when you listen to too many cop shows on the radio.
There's a bit more to this than that. But right now, we need to decide what to do with her.
Maybe arrest her?
I don't think there's any need for that. In her current state, and without the gun, she isn't really a threat to anyone. We could let Titus know. This is a perfect problem for the local peacekeepers to handle. They might even know her family.
Okay.
Then we can ask him once we get back to the whirling. But we have to hurry, because it's late, and they might have already gone home. But I think we're done here for now. Let's head out. This is done.
Please, leave the radio on.
Reflex to what? Being left alone. She stands motionless. Just a heap of clothes and flashes now. Maybe if you search her once more. The woman stands slumped. She looks catatonic under her mountain of RCM paraphernalia. Is one of those things a police cap? There were narcotics in there too.
Confiscate the narcotics.
Do.
Wink. Pick up the cap.
She doesn't even flinch as you reach out and disentangle the familiar-looking lieutenant's cap from her mountain of RCM paraphernalia.
Oh, is that yours?
It's hard to say. It's been so long since you wore yours.
I think so.
The lieutenant nods.
We're gonna leave her drugs because she needs them a lot more than we do. Whew. This game is so good, dude. This game is incredible. This game is incredible. All right, so this is big. Let's head back and see if we can catch Titus and them before they leave. And then I think we're gonna go do Ruby next. So actual main story. Oh, talk to Joyce. I think we exhausted everything with Joyce. Let's double check. Check the gun. I wonder, we don't have any ammo. Do we need to get ammo for this thing?
Holding the gun feels natural and satisfying. It's like an extension of your arm, the polished wooden handle almost fusing into your palm.
I think my hand recognizes it.
It reminds you of the day you first held it, with fear and respect, hoping you don't have to use it in vain. The sun was out in Jamrock. It was so long ago. This gun, Sunrise Parabellum, will be the only thing standing between you and the all-consuming nothingness that threatens to eat the world. Sheathe it and wait, Herald. It won't be long now.